You see the title of the video. I know why you clicked on it, and I 100% stand by my decision that you are absolutely delusional if you think the Bears are not drafting Caleb Williams first overall. Caleb Williams is going first overall to the Bears. Anything else that you hear is just smoke and mirrors made up by NFL fans or whoever. Caleb Williams is going to the Bears first overall, and I think you are delusional if you think anything else. The main reason I'm making this video is because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, Cliff Kingsbury's going to Washington, so they're going to trade up from 2-1 for Caleb Williams. No, okay? That's not going to happen. And I'm going to give my two big reasons of to why this is not happening, and you are absolutely delusional if you think it is. So just hear me out, okay? After you watch the video, if you want to call me delusional and say that they're absolutely trading away the first overall pick and keeping Fields, then let me know down below. But just hear my points first. And I didn't really know where to start this, so I just started it here with Adam Schefter tweet. Widespread consensus that Bears will draft Caleb Williams first overall at 1. That's not to say that Adam Schefter hasn't been wrong before. Dude's been an idiot. I even know recently he announced Jason Kelce's retirement, and then Jason Kelce came out and said, dude, I didn't tell anyone I retired, moron. So Schefter and Rappaport, I love them. They're great guys, but at the same time, they'll just tweet anything as soon as they get a reliable source. They're usually right on the head, but sometimes they're not right, or also teams could be purposely pumping smoke so that other teams are confused about what's going on. Let's start with the first main reason to why the Bears are taking Caleb Williams first overall. And that's that Caleb Williams is really damn good. So good, in fact, that for the last 2 years, Caleb Williams has been the consensus first overall pick. He still is the consensus first overall pick, and I don't think there's any way in hell he's not the first overall pick. There's only one other player that you could even try to make a case for, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr., but that's not happening. Bears are either drafting him or a team's trading up to 1 and drafting him. And I think everyone agrees on that. Everyone knows that Caleb Williams is the consensus first overall pick. I also see some people on Twitter or some people make takes like, well, actually, I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be that good. I think he could be a bust, or he doesn't play good in big moments. Shut up. Yeah, you can't, you're not always right. There are players that look damn great out of college and just don't succeed in the NFL. Caleb Williams has not shown any signs of that at all in his 2 years at USC. I think the biggest complaint I saw about him this year is that he's emotional because he cried after he lost a game. What do you want me to say there, man? Like, that's just bullshit at that point. Criticizing a 21-year-old kid for crying after losing a very important game to him. But it was just a regular season game. I would fucking love it if anyone on the Falcons gave a damn about the regular season, because they sure as fuck don't. I would love a quarterback that got emotional after we lost and wanted to play better. Caleb Williams in 2022 won the fucking Heisman. Looked phenomenal. And look at these stats here. Just look at these stats in 2022. Looked phenomenal. He was getting comps to Patrick Mahomes. And then everyone this year's been like, oh, well, he kind of had a bad year. He didn't play as good. And I can agree that he did have a down year from last year. But he played phenomenal still. Caleb Williams looked so good this year as well. So it's crazy how good of a season he had his Heisman year, because this year he had a really, really good year. A great year to be considered the first overall pick still. And it was a down year from last year too. But if you look at these stats here, you can see why he had 900 more yards and 12 more touchdowns. He had 70 more passes last year. You add those 70 passes, he had a better completion rating, but he had less passes. That makes sense. And a better passer rating, but also see the less passes. Both years, he only had 5 picks. Dude's only thrown 10 picks in these 2 years. And 72 touchdowns, a 7-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, phenomenal. Then in this year, if you look at his games, you look at his game stats, he played great to start the year. He did have a bad game against Notre Dame. I watched this Notre Dame game live. I thought USC was going to roll. He played bad. Then he also had a bad game against Oregon too. He played in 12 games, and he looked phenomenal in 10 out of 12 of them. If your team went 10-2, would you be happy? I sure as hell would. The Falcons haven't had 10 wins in 6 years. We haven't even surpassed 7. And Caleb Williams this year was great in 10 out of 12 games. You could maybe make an argument that this UCL game he also didn't play the best in, but I mean, I think he did really good. This Utah game, but he still played really good. Yes, he had 2 bad games. He had a bad game at Oregon and at Notre Dame. 2 top 10 teams. And his bad game, okay, this Notre Dame game was actually really bad. This Oregon game was also not the best, but he still played decent in that Oregon game. This Washington game, he outperformed Michael Penix Jr. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that there. I'm not going to say anything else for anyone that wants to question it. He played better than Penix Jr. His defense allowed 52 points. And that then brings me on to my next case about Caleb Williams and why he's really good. Can you name a wide receiver on that team? I can. Brendan Rice, who was okay, I guess. It's not like Brendan Rice was the best wide receiver in the world. Caleb Williams, Brendan Rice will be his highest drafted target, and he's late second round, early third. He doesn't have a big number 1 wide receiver or tight end that he was throwing the ball to this year. His running game is not that great, and his offensive line's okay. It's not like he has superstar weapons. I love Jaden Daniels, okay? Jaden Daniels is great, and I think he deserves to be the 3rd quarterback off the board. Jaden Daniels had Malik Neighbors, consensus number 2 wide receiver, and Brian Johnson? No. I know I'm fucking up that last name, but the other wide receiver from LSU, who's the consensus number 4 wide receiver. You know, Caleb Williams didn't have as much talent as Michael Penix Jr. had, as Bo Nix had, and as Jaden Daniels had. Drake May also didn't have that much talent too, so I'm not going to say Drake May, but Caleb Williams did not have that much talent as other quarterbacks and still played lights out. So he's already proven that with a team that doesn't have the most talent in the world, he can still play phenomenal and put up 40 points. His defense, and the reason that he went 7-5 this year, is because his defense sucked ass. The Trojans' defense allowed 34.5 points a game. And that's even stat padding it. Look at these 2 games to start the year. 14 points and 10 points. Nevada is a 2-10 team. Stanford is a 3-9 team. You take out this 10-point performance and this 14 performance from a 2-win team and a 3-win team, and you just take these 10 games, and especially in this losing stretch here, Caleb Williams' defense and the USC Trojans allowed 39 points per game. Caleb Williams, in order to win a game, would have to score 6 touchdowns. He had to lead his team to 6 touchdowns to even win the game because his defense was allowing 39 points per game. I mean, it's like, look at this shit. 38, 36, 52, 49, 34, 48. The lowest amount of points his defense allowed in this stretch was 34 points. Oh, Arizona, 41. Colorado, 41. How are you supposed to win under these conditions? And guess what? He still did win some games. He went 7-5. Caleb Williams is the real deal. He looks phenomenal. Yeah, he's a little bit emotional. And all that smoke and mirrors about him not wanting to go to the Bears, have you heard that from Caleb Williams' mouth? Have you? Has Caleb Williams come out and said, I don't want to play for the Bears? I haven't heard that. I sure as hell have not heard that. All this smoke and mirrors are from unreliable sources. I haven't seen fucking Schefter tweet anything about it. Like I said, he's also not the most reliable, but he's probably the most reliable as Schefter and Rappaport. I haven't heard shit from them. All these people saying, oh, he doesn't want to go to the Bears. People that aren't reliable, dude. There is no reliable source saying that Williams doesn't want to play for the Bears. And with Caleb Williams being so good, the Bears would be delusional not to draft him. The Bears, we all know this, could have had Patrick Mahomes and instead drafted Mitch Trubisky 2nd overall. That haunted them. Last year, the Bears could have had, now this is hindsight, right? But the Bears could have had CJ Stroud, traded away the first overall pick. The Bears now are here again. They fucking took Mitch Trubisky, and then they passed on CJ Stroud. They also passed on Mahomes when they drafted Trubisky, like I just said. Here they are, number 1 pick. It's not even theirs. This is house money they're playing with, right? I guess they traded for it, but it's not their first pick. Draft Williams. Please, draft Williams. He is that good. Look at how many teams are saying that they want to trade up for a quarterback, right? Give me just a second here. So let's look at this, right? Let's look at every single team that has been rumored to trade up to 1 for Caleb Williams and wants Caleb Williams. Commanders. Okay. New England. We all know they're taking a quarterback, so it makes sense they'd want to trade up for the best one. You know, Cardinals have Murray. Chargers have Herbert. 6, I've seen mock drafts where Giants trade up for Caleb Williams. I know Giants fans that want to have Caleb Williams. Titans, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, say they'll roll with their guy. Falcons, I know every fucking Falcons fan wants to do that. Chicago, obviously their same pick. Jets have Rodgers. But then look at this 4 stretch here. Minnesota, Denver, Vegas, and New Orleans. Have all been rumored and have wanted to trade up for Williams. So here in the top 14, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Half the league wants to trade up for Caleb Williams. That at least didn't make the playoffs. So if you think that half the teams in the league want Caleb Williams and would be willing to give up 3 first-round picks for Caleb Williams, because that's what it's going to take. Last year, the Bears in their trade traded away 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. I would say that's equivalent to 3 first-round picks, probably even more. If you think that half the league is willing to give up 3 third-round picks for Caleb Williams, why would the Bears not take Caleb Williams? And that is a good segment to reason 2 why you should draft Caleb Williams. And it's because Justin Fields is not the answer. I don't know how Justin Fields got so much hype this season, because his first 2 years he looked like shit, and people were out on Fields. Now the Bears passed on drafting Bryce Young or CJ Stroud and decided to give Fields 1 more year. And now let's look at what Justin Fields did in this extra year that he was given. He only played in 13 games because he was hurt for a little bit. And Justin Fields went for a whole whopping 5 for 8. Okay, and obviously it's a team game, right? So let's look at how Justin Fields did in his 13 games. 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. You then look at these 2 games that stand out. He played great against that Broncos game. I remember watching that game where the Bears choked a huge lead, and then he looked great against the Commanders. So he had 2 really good games. And then we can also look at this Falcons game. I fucking watched this shit. He carved our ass. 3 really good games that Justin Fields had. He played in 13. So Fields had 3 great games and 10 either average or subpar games. 3 and 10. Remember Caleb Williams, who went 10-2? Just saying. Now, Justin Fields, if you get rid of these 2 games right here where he played out of his fucking mind, that brings us to 11 games. Take away these 4 touchdowns here, and in 11 games, he had 8 passing touchdowns to 8 interceptions. In 11 games, he had 8 passing touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Justin Fields didn't throw more than 1 passing touchdown in 11 of his games. What do you want me to say? Look at this QBR rating. He has a fucking 46 QBR rating. Where has this Justin Fields hype come from? These 2 games here, Washington and Denver, I completely get it. If you were to look at these 2 games, I would believe you. It's a 13-game season. Fucking 13 points against the Minnesota Vikings. This game against the Lions, you know what? He looked decent for passing the ball fucking 16 times. This game against the Vikings, he looked like shit. I remember watching that game on primetime. It was fucking terrible to watch. Then he beat the Lions. You can maybe say that this was another good game for him. But are these fucking phenomenal stats? Are these stats that you're happy with? 57% completion rating for 220 yards and 1 passing touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown? Let's not to mention how many fucking sacks this dude takes. The Bears' offensive line isn't terrible. The Bears have an average offensive line, and dudes fucking takes 44 sacks. I don't know where this Justin Fields hype has come from all of a sudden, and it pisses me off how people are putting Justin Fields above some quarterbacks here. Dude, I'm gonna list some quarterbacks off right now that are better than Justin Fields. Hate me in the comments down below. Brock Purdy, he's better than Justin Fields. Tua Tagovailoa, he's better than Justin Fields. I mean, is Kenny Pickett better than Justin Fields? Call me crazy, but fuck, Kenny Pickett led the Steelers to the playoffs. Call me insane. I think Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields are close. I don't know who's better, but I think that goes to show, do you want Kenny Pickett? No. Do you want Justin Fields? I sure as hell wouldn't. I've seen a lot of Falcons fans saying, well, we should trade our second-round pick for Fields. And you know what? If we trade our second-round pick 42, 43... Where's the full pick here? 43, okay? If we trade pick 43 for Justin Fields. Oh my god. I completely forgot I'm supposed to do full screen. My bad. Someone left a comment down below saying, please, for the love of God, move to full screen. Shit. Okay, I'm doing it now. I remember now. Okay, sorry. If Justin Fields, if we traded him for a second round pick, I would maybe be okay with that. Maybe. He's better than Ritter, that's for sure. So you know what? If we wanted to trade a second for it, okay, I guess. We're upgrading. It could be the best that we can do with what we have. I would be okay with trading a second for Fields. Okay, I wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't hate it. And I think that goes to show just how much better Caleb Williams is, because I would agree with if we wanted to trade our 8th pick and a first next year, maybe AJ Terrell and a second for Caleb Williams. He's the real deal. So if Caleb Williams is worth 3 first-round picks and Justin Fields is worth a second, who do you think the Bears should take? The QB worth 3 first-round picks or the QB worth 1 second? And I know you can't say, draft stock is everything, but I'm talking about in why the Bears are going to draft him. This whole thing's around the draft, not about who he will become, about the potential of what he can become and of what Justin Fields has done. Because I can sure as shit promise you that Caleb Williams, there is a 90% chance that he's at least better than what Justin Fields is doing for the Bears. And Justin Fields hasn't even led the Bears to the fucking playoffs yet. And I know it's a team-based effort, right? It's just look at this fucking shit, man. Look at this game against the Cardinals. He threw the ball fucking 15 times for 170 yards. They ran the ball and their defense played great. Yeah, he ran it a ton. Is this why fans are happy with Fields? Because of how good he is rushing the ball? Yeah, he's a good runner, but he also takes 44 sacks. He takes way too many sacks. He fumbles the ball. They're not going to keep Fields. Fucking imagine, if you are the Bears GM and you trade away the first overall pick and another team's draft Caleb Williams and he does good. Fields has only had 1 300-yard passing game in 3 years. The Bears have never had a quarterback pass for more than 4,000 yards. Imagine if you trade away Caleb Williams and he does that shit in 2 or 3 seasons. Bears fans will never forgive the Bears and Ryan Poles. Or is that his name, Ryan Poles? I think so. You can't do it. You have to draft Williams. You have never had... Your best fucking franchise quarterback, has been Jay Cutler. Draft Caleb Williams, please, for the love of God. If the Bears don't draft Caleb Williams, they're so fucking stupid. They're so stupid. And I can't comprehend it around my mind that an NFL team is that dumb. Falcons are pretty stupid, but if they had the first overall pick, I know they would be drafting Caleb Williams in a heartbeat. Bears should be too. I think there's just some smoke and mirrors around it. And I'm almost positive that they're drafting Williams. And like I said, those are my 2 reasons. 1, Williams is phenomenal. I bet if he wasn't on that USC team this year, USC is fucking probably going 0 for 12. Maybe 2 for 10 against those trash teams they played. And Justin Fields isn't him. I don't know why people are all of a sudden just hyping up Justin Fields after this season. Is this the season that really wants to hype you up against Justin Fields? A total of 3,200 yards and 20 touchdowns with 9 interceptions, probably 5 fumbles. So 20 touchdowns, 14 turnovers, 3,000 yards in 13 games. And 5 wins against the, let's just see here. Who did he beat again? Oh, the team with the second pick, the Commanders. The Vikings in a game they should have lost where they didn't have their quarterback. I'll give them this. Detroit win, good. Cardinals pick 4, Falcons pick 8. Vikings have pick 11. So they beat 4 bottom 10 teams. One's 11. We'll just say 4 bottom 10 teams to make it sound better. And then the Lions. That was a good win. But it's like, what else? What do you want me to say, man? You're delusional if you think that they're not drafting Williams. And if for some reason you don't want the Bears to draft Williams and you're a Bears fan, what are you doing, man? Don't you want a franchise quarterback? Why do you want another year of Fields? You can do so much better. Is it because you've never had a good QB before and Jay Cutler's been your best quarterback that you don't know what that is? And so you're fine with this? Stop being fine with it. Demand that you draft Caleb Williams, the surefire number 1 overall pick, and then at pick 9, guess what? You still pick 9. Go draft Rome Odunze if you want a wide receiver that badly. I think Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze is much fucking better than Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison Jr. I will die on that hill. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze is fucking up here, and Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison Jr. is here. Okay? All right? I hope I got my point across. You know what? But leave comments down below, please, if you think I'm wrong. Pretty please, tell me how I'm wrong down below. I'd love to have an honest discussion about it. I just had to do this little rant. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Peace.